This is Billy Smith, an average 13-year-old happy young man. Billy's father is a neuroscientist.
Daddy!
Oh, hello, Billy.
Daddy, I've been wondering, how do you find out how the brain works?
Well, Jimmy, we've developed a lot of ways to look at the brain, many scanning techniques.
First, we measured electrical impulses from the cortex of the brain with electroencephalography. It looks a little like this and is great for temporal resolution, but it takes a lot of interpretation. Later, we developed positron emission tomography, using radioactive isotopes to map out brain structure and even function. But my favorite technique is MRI. Using signal variation in a magnetic field, we can map out the brain, and by focusing on blood flow, well, in a resting state, neurons only use a small amount of oxygen. But when they begin to produce action potentials, blood vessels become wider, and many molecules of oxygen separate from hemoglobin, which carries them within the blood. These oxygen molecules bind to the neuronal bodies, and we can measure magnetic resonance caused by the change in oxygen level, and understand which part of the brain was active.
But what do we need all this scanning for?
Well, you see, Kimmy.
Well, firstly, we use it to understand brain diseases, such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Secondly, of course, we use it for all kinds of scientific research, from cognition and memory to hearing and smelling.
We work with fMRIs.
Oh no, Timmy. But I know a man named Dr. O'Connor who does. Let's go see him. Yay!
Major advantages that fMRI has over its predecessors. The first is one of safety. So fMRI doesn't require participants or patients to be exposed to ionizing radiation, which means that you can have a number of fMRI scans within a period of weeks. You don't need to sort of monitor the frequency of the scans. It also doesn't require tracers as well, so it's non-invasive, so you don't need to have injections when you're scanned. The second scientific advantage is that we get very high spatial resolution. We can image cortically on the surface of the brain and subcortically, sort of, deep within the brain, and we can do that. We can take measurements every 2 seconds to about a kind of 3 millimeter by 3 millimeter by 3 millimeter resolution. So we can get a tremendous amount of data from fMRI. I'm interested in memory, specifically how we know when we have memories, how we know when we don't have memories, when we've forgotten stuff. So what I typically do is I present stimuli to participants and see whether they recognize them or not. And if they do, I look at which regions of the brain are supporting that recognition, which regions of the brain. And the major limitation is one of temporal resolution. Not so much in terms of how the scanners work. The scanners can take measurements every 2 seconds or so. It's more in terms of the physiology that we're measuring.
Well, Timmy, do you understand about magnetic resonance imaging now?
Yes, Dad. Now I understand.